Speaking of contagious, we've got joining us all the way from Reds HQ. It's Wrongers, Liam Wright, everybody. Yeah, Wrongers, how are you, brother?
Good, Jable. Another great segue there, mate.
Thanks, man. Yeah, been working on it in the off season. Nailed it. Wrongers, mate. Popped your lid. Like to see it. Looking very good, mate. How's training this evening, mate? You feeling good before the big match at GIO Stadium this weekend?
Yeah, it was a good one. We it's nice doing the night sessions. Just remove some of the heat factor that can sometimes ruin your training sessions up here in Queensland with the sweat and everything. So, pretty decent session. It's probably our main only big run of the week, given it's a short turnaround for us. So. We'll recover tomorrow and then get a good captain's run in at GIO and then get ready to take them on Saturday. So, feeling pretty good.
Just real quick, Ron, I just need to ask, are you walking around shirtless outside a public toilet there, brother?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I've taken Sarah's seat. Outside the public toilets here. So, we've got to jump in the ice bath, but a few too many boys in there. So.
Yeah, sure, mate.
And Wrongers, mate, firstly, congratulations on the weekend. First game back in a long while. You've had a treacherous run with injuries. With the C beside your name, obviously the big win. The boys love having you leading from the front, hey?
Yeah, I don't think I can claim sort of any of that, but it was great to be out there with the fellas. So, picked up a little for the first time, probably 2 or 3 years. The body's been feeling great, and then picked up a little head knock. So, you couldn't script that, but great to be out there. Good to get 80 minutes. Nice to actually trial a bit of the captaincy stuff with Tate. We've had a year's run at it, and I think only about probably 40, 50 minutes out there together. So, it went well. We were pretty happy with our performance. Still a lot we can improve on, but just the response was a pleasing thing, especially in the second half, given how we folded in the week before.
Yeah, and you talk about the response just then. I'd like to get your insight. Obviously disappointing round one, as you just sort of alluded to then, the back end of the game. What is there a mental switch? Like, what's the main difference that you guys brought into this week that was missing in the Hurricanes week?
I think preparation for the Hurricanes was pretty good, and we were well in that game at half time.
Yeah.
But I just thought we probably shot ourselves in the foot a bit with those 2 cards, and drained too much of our energy. And then from there, all those sort of work hard early, those non-effort area or those effort areas, there's no skill required sort of areas, we're pretty poor after that. Probably due to the fact that we just burnt ourselves out trying to defend with 14, 13 guys for a long period of time. And we probably saw the opposite on Saturday, where we survived that yellow card period just before half time or Sunday. And then once the Force got a few cards there, we were able to capitalise and put the heat on them and sort of keep that going. And once you get the momentum, it's pretty good to keep on. So I think that was the main difference. I thought our prep was pretty good. Obviously, after that Hurricanes game, we sort of just had to address that. We're not some shit team all of a sudden just because of that performance. Yeah. Similarly, this week we're not suddenly world beaters because we won by 50 points. So we got pretty good at just parking the result, whatever it was, after that sort of Monday review. And a lot of boys with good energy in the squad, so we're able to just say, all right, fuck it, that happened. Take our learnings from it and move on.
Yeah, nice.
Liam, I want to talk about the influence of a couple of people, but first we'll go with Mick Heenan. Obviously coming in over the preseason, I can see a lot of his touch on the squad, just in the way you guys are attacking. So, just extrapolate on that a little bit. How's he been and the influence he's had on the squad?
See you, George. Yeah, he's been great. Just coming in, and he's very organised. He's sort of got that businessman sense about him. Obviously, a lot of success at UQ, so he's got the plays to back it up, and he's been really good at getting those starter plays for the backs just moving. He's probably main sort of focus is almost simplicity, but execution of the basics. And, I guess it's no surprise that sort of the Crusaders and probably the Brumbies as well are teams that do that really well. They find a game style that suits them and just execute basics. So whether that's kicking, breakdown something he's been really big on, which I think, again, we weren't great against the Canes. We were pretty good against the Force at taking things out there, and that'll be huge for the Brumbies against us. But I think he's really good at actioning what we need to do and getting that little bit more of detail, and also just taking a bit of a strain off Thorny, off Jimmy, and helping share the load there. So, Jimmy can specialise more in his area. Thorny can sort of trust more, I guess, in the attack sense of it, and focus on what he's good at. So, yeah, he's been a really welcome addition, and he's a good man.
Good stuff. And then secondly, young Tom Liner, obviously slotting into the most important position on the field. It seems almost seamless. He directs you around really well with his boot. How's he been and the influence he's had on the squad?
Yeah, he's been awesome. I think he's just grown up this year. He had a couple injury sort of run-ins last year with hammies playing up and things like that. And, Thorny and them have been really good at sort of balancing when you need to be tough with him and when you can sort of just accept that he's a developing body. And I think Turbs really took the step this preseason. There was probably one session where he probably would have pulled out sometime last year, and Thorny was like, "Oh, mate, you're all right. Are you going to get through?" And I think Turbo went to him. He said, "Yeah, I think I just need a spoon of concrete," and finished the session. And from there, I don't think he missed another one for about 4 or 5 weeks. So it's just that evolution in him. And I guess with him putting in a better preseason, he's able to be on the field with us more. As you said, his boot's been excellent. And I think he's probably just doesn't try and overplay his hand. Sometimes at that 10 role, when you come in there, try to do too much and end up costing the team, he just kicks when he needs to, gets the ball to threats outside him. And when he needs to take a strong carry or put his head in dark place for a tackle, he's pretty good at that too. So, really proud of the way he's just stepped up. And, we back him all the way.
Roggers, mate, J-Bor and I had you in the Pillar to Post studio at the Caco 3 or 4 years ago, where I think you were in a mood boot, and you spent about 2 hours waiting while we were trying to plug the microphones in. Do you prefer this method, where you just dial in and you're straight up, or would you prefer the wait?
I was looking forward to being cuddled up between you and Freeney, Das, but this is a pretty good way as well. So
not bad, it's not bad. Smart.
We'll get you in.
He's good. He's smart. He's learned.
Mate, vaguely remember seeing you at PAC Rugby after a long day of hydration. What did you think about that? And 2, where should we have it in Queensland?
Yeah, long day, that Aqua Rugby one. Thanks to our friends at Budgie Smugglers on the super yacht there. That was a pretty awesome day. Didn't see much footy after a little bit, I'll admit, but the boat was nice and great to catch up towards the end there. Although I'm not sure we would have been saying too much. Geez, where to have it in Brizzy? I think Brizzy River's probably a bit of a stretch. There'll be too many in that. You'd have to think somewhere on the Goldie. I'm not really a Gold Coast local, but somewhere on the Goldie there. I think Zane Nongor owns most of the Gold Coast, so he can
It's a good concept, though. Good concept. We're gonna get it up.
Yeah, great concept. Awesome initiative, and I think just getting more types of footy out there is always fun.
Well, Rongers, I just want to ask you, mate, because you touched on it before. You've had a pretty horrible run with injuries the last couple of years, and it has really stymied your career, for lack of a better term. You're someone who, funnily enough, actually played for Australia against the Barbarians before you made your Super Rugby debut, and then had a pretty meteoric rise and culminating in 5 tests in 2019. Obviously, that you haven't really been able to add to that because of the pandemic and injuries and so on. But in the back of your mind, you said you're feeling good. You've copped that head knock, but the body's doing well. I mean, outside of the Reds doing well this year, is a ticket to France in September that goal you're really chasing to get back into that Wallaby Gold?
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, bit of a tough run the last few years. Just last year was tough, just back to back, sort of bit of just a rogue run, like, doing an ankle in the warm-up before a game, coming down from a line-out, done that a million times and, never copped anything. And that's on the back of already missing the first 5 weeks with a shoulder, and then come back from that ankle and then last a good 30 minutes. And just before the end of full time, the shoulder goes again. And, that last quarterfinal against the Crusaders was pretty much playing on one arm, a lot of injections during the week, just trying to get it through. And but I think that was probably a blessing in disguise, to be honest, having to get that shoulder redone, knowing it was going to be a long sort of layoff and obviously miss club rugby, any chance at sort of any Wallabies things at the end of the year. That Japan and the Challenger Series was frustrating, but it was the best way to build my body back into something that could do something this year. And that was, again, the whole reason why I re-signed. Obviously, I wanted to re-sign with the Reds, but the sort of flexi deal that they gave me was so that I had a chance to earn a ticket to France. The win-win is that, like, this year I just want to play footy. I'm sort of a player that thrives on putting consistent performances out there. I might not be the sort of huge game breaker that your Sully and your Nella and guys like that, but I think I put consistent performances in week to week, and for me that means I have to be on the field to do it, and I have to be playing footy. So I guess the positive is that, like, the last 2 years have really made me realize, I love this stuff, like, the grind of getting back out there, and I'm really excited to put some back-to-back games in. It's been a bit of a struggle just sort of having the odd one here and there, and then injuries sort of separating it. So I'm looking forward to getting back into the grind of having to put 80 out every week and trying to stay consistent and play well, and for the team to do well. And my eyes are firmly set on trying to get a ticket to France at the end of the year. But the beauty of what happens is that's not really in my hands. Fresh coach, which is great for me and a lot of the Queenslanders. And, if not, then I've got that ability to chase a contract elsewhere for about 5 months at the end of the year, play some more footy, get some different experiences and different coaching under my belt, and come back to Queensland with that new stuff again next year, and keep pushing for that Wallaby gold, because that's what I want. Yeah.
Well, mate, your buddy sold me, mate. You're in.
If only I could just talk my way in,
Hey, Wrongers, mate, I want to go back a little bit. You talked about how difficult the last 2 years, particularly the last 12 months, as someone who went through a lot of injuries in my early part of my career as well. Was there anything you did differently this preseason, more mentally, to really strengthen your resolve when coming back? Because I know when my first few games coming back from back-to-back ACLs, all I was thinking about was not hurting myself when I was on the field, and it was hard to concentrate on the actual rugby, and it can be a real hindrance at times. You seem like you're in a really good space, but was there anything that you did differently leading up to this season, particularly on that mental side?
Oh, mate, I think just probably, like you say, Dos, it's thinking about the injuries is tough, and I think the timing probably worked out pretty well for me, because coming back from the shoulder, it sort of came back into being able to, like, I probably would have been fully fit to play early December. And for us, that worked into the start of preseason. But Thorny and the coaches and Gina and the medical staff were great in that they didn't just try and rush me back for that. They sort of said, righto, we can have you pretty much ready to play at the start of December, and then and that gives us a whole preseason to work on it. So it was really cool, because I actually spoke to Gina after the Force trial, our first one, and I was like, it was really weird, because technically this is like my first game back, but I almost forgot that I was coming back from a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
It was just like, because I'd had the whole preseason there, it worked really well into just being, this is a preseason for me. I got myself healthy. I had to work pretty hard in the off season to get that ready.
Yeah.
And obviously miss Challenger Series and Japan stuff and things like that. But it gave me the ability to strengthen the whole body. And obviously being a sort of an upper body injury as opposed to a lower body injury, which I've had plenty of the last few years, got to actually sort of strengthen my base a bit, work on the legs and the footwork with Marshy. I'm sure you did a bit of that too, Dos.
Yeah.
It all coincided really well. And I think mentally it just got me to the point where if something else happened, I guess the head knock was another good example, because I'd sort of said to myself, everyone has these runs at some point. I'm sure that's probably what you said, where you just say, if you're going to sit around and sulk about it, it's no real good.
Yeah.
So I just said, everyone goes through these runs. I'm just doing mine now. I genuinely felt like once I fixed myself up from that, I'd be good to go and I could show what I can do.
Yeah.
And so the head knock was probably a really rough week and a half. I haven't had one where symptoms have ever stuck around. You've had head knocks, but you sort of wake up the next day and they're gone. So this one was difficult, and it sort of had me probably questioning, especially because you don't really know as much about the head, what you can do to make it better. And again, I think that was really tough for about 2 weeks, until I sort of had to say, hang on, don't be an idiot. Treat this as an injury and just say, what will be, get through it. Once you come back from this, nothing can stop you. And then I think you just take that until the next one, and then you just try and say the same thing.
Awesome.
That's unreal. Wrongers, I've got a couple of quick fire questions for you. All right.
Go for it, Dal.
One player from another sport you'd love us to have on the Red squad. Any sport?
CFSD. LeBron James.
LeBron James. Favorite teammate?
Connor Vest.
Least favorite teammate?
Connor Vest.
Yeah, same answer. Least favourite teammate, Tay McDermott.
All right, I knew he was going to say Tay.
Career highlight?
Beating the Sharks in Durban in 2019. First time I got to play in front of all my family in South Africa, and first time Reds won there in about 15 years.
Yeah, phenomenal.
And the most influential person in your career so far?
Big fat ass.
Yeah, it does. Yes. Mate, probably Thorny, to be honest. I don't think many people would take a punt on I was 90 odd kilos as a flanker, sort of trying to make a name for myself coming through. I don't think many people would take a punt on that and invest all the time he has. We've had a long journey together, and obviously there was a lot of people in sort of my junior stuff, but I genuinely don't think I was built with the frame or whatever to sort of be a professional athlete so much. So I think someone took a punt on the mindset, the work rate, the work ethic, the stuff you probably can't see. And so, yeah, he's been really big at helping me develop that and give me a shot. So probably Thorny.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Moving forward, Dow, you can just take care of all the interviews and just rifle them off like that. That was really good.
Amazing.
That was a great little segment. Well done, Dow. But Wrongers, mate, thanks so much for calling in, mate. We really appreciate it. Just dialing in outside the toilets outside Ballymore there just after training.
Looking glorious.
But yeah, mate, you're looking good.
No one's come in to them. I'm a bit disappointed.
It's almost as if a dude with his shirt off and a camera out outside the toilets isn't as appetizing as you might think.
Probably not wearing any pants.
Such a strong camera angle too. He's got the Leonidas going.
Must be the erection. Well, Wrongers, just before you go though, mate, we just wanted to make... you said your dream threesome was actually to be sandwiched between Big Fat Das and Freens on the battlers bench. We're able to, just through the power of television... There you go. There you go. Oh, look at that. Hey! Yeah.
Oh, you dropped the camera. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey.
I think I saw this on Pornhub once. Look at that. Look at that. The best of friends. But Wrongers, mate, thanks so much for dialing in, mate. We really do appreciate it. And we'll be cheering the boys on. And all the best for the rest of the year. And hopefully we can see you in France in September, brother.
How fucking good is he? I love him.
Yeah,
I love
pleasure,
you
guys. Thanks for having us. Appreciate the support. Building rugby back up in Queensland. I love it.
Love you, Wrongers. Round of applause,
Yeah.
everybody.
Thanks,
Liam
mate.
Wrongers, right.